We've all heard it before. Toyotas are indestructible, right? I, of all people, probably know this better than most, that yes, Toyotas are about as good of a vehicle as you could possibly buy from a long-term perspective. But what if I told you that all of them have one Achilles heel that you really need to know about? And that Achilles heel is this. It is engine coolant. In this video, I'm going to tell you about why this is such an important item to change out, what it can possibly do to your engine if you don't maintain this, and then if you stick around to the very end of the video, I'm going to show you a quick, easy, and inexpensive way to test the life of your coolant. All right, so engine coolant. It is sort of the lifeblood of the cooling system within your engine. It simply is used to transfer heat from your engine into the radiator, in which it is then dissipated. If not maintained, it can lead to an early death for your Toyota. Now, before we get going, it's important to understand that coolant is essentially just a mixture of distilled water and glycol. Glycol being the chemical that essentially prevents the fluid from boiling when it is being used to dissipate heat in your engine. But it's also the chemical that prevents the fluid from freezing inside the block of your engine when it is cold outside and your vehicle is just sitting still. The one thing to keep in mind about all coolant is that through age and usage, so both age and mileage, it will start to break down and become acidic over time. The level of acidity is the really important thing to keep in mind when we start to take into account the effect that bad coolant is going to have on your engine and other vital components of your cooling system. For example, once that coolant starts to break down through age and mileage and becomes more acidic, it's going to start to have a negative effect on things like your hoses. It can affect vital components of the cooling system, such as the radiator, the water pump, or the thermostat. And then finally, probably the most catastrophic problem that it can cause is that it can slowly start to eat through the really important seals inside your engine. The big one being, of course, the head gasket. For the most part, Toyotas don't tend to have chronic head gasket issues. There are some examples, like the third-gen Prius was frankly pretty well known for head gasket failures, even if everything was maintained well. But barring a few exceptions like that, Toyotas tend to not have chronic head gasket issues. So if a Toyota is to prematurely fail due to head gasket failure, it's likely because someone let it overheat due to something like the water pump or the radiator failing. But honestly, I think probably the most likely cause of a premature head gasket failure for a Toyota is that the coolant was not maintained, and that coolant will start to slowly work its way through the head gasket, and that will subsequently allow coolant to start to mix into the combustion of the engine. Toyota recommends that if you have one of their vehicles that uses the pink super long life coolant, that you change it at 100,000 miles at first and then 50,000 miles subsequently after that. I don't think that's a bad recommendation. I probably would recommend that you change it a little bit more frequently, especially on that first coolant change. I'd probably recommend that you just assume that a 50,000 mile interval is a pretty good baseline. But I also am going to recommend that you perform the procedure I'm going to show you close to the end of this video in order to better understand whether or not your coolant needs to be changed more frequently. It's also important to clarify that this is taking into account that you're going to perform a total coolant change. So you're going to drain both the radiator, the reservoir, and also the coolant passages directly inside the engine. I know that, for example, my GX460 has a couple of additional outlet ports on both sides of the engine that you can access through the wheel wells in order to drain the coolant directly from the engine. It's important that you do that step if you're planning to drain as much coolant in the entire system as possible. In my opinion, it's also perfectly fine to do just a drain and fill of the radiator and the reservoir. That's quite a bit easier to do, but I'd recommend if you do that, that you do your interval a little bit more frequently, because you're not going to be changing out all of that coolant all in one time. You're going to have a little bit of a diluted mix always between new and used coolant. So I'd recommend that you keep that in mind, potentially maybe change that every 25,000 miles instead of 50. You might need to do it more frequently. Once again, going back to the method I'm about to show you now, that will give you a baseline as to how frequently you need to do it. This right here is the product that I recommend for testing your coolant. You can pick this kit up on Amazon. It's a relatively good price and it's very easy to use. It comes with 15 test kits, so you'll be able to use it multiple times, and even if you have multiple vehicles, you'll be covered. Inside each kit, there's going to be this little test strip, and there's also a chart that you can compare the color that you get with this chart, which will help you better understand how much life your coolant has left. I'll have a link for this kit in the description below. Feel free to check it out. Now, it's pretty simple how we're going to do this. We're going to take our little test strip here, and we're going to dip the end of it down here into our coolant. I'm going to just pop off the radiator cap and stick it down in the coolant. And then we're going to wait 5 minutes, and then we're going to compare the color that we get on the test strip to the chart that's included. It's important to note that these kits also include another side that you can use for brake fluid, which is certainly a nice feature as well. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but feel free to use that as well if you'd like. So anyway, let's go ahead and go outside. I'm going to actually take 2 of these. I'm going to test both our GX and our Sequoia, and let's see what kind of numbers we get. All right, here we go. We're going to pop off our radiator cap. It's important to note that the kit says that you should not test it, the coolant that is, when it's warm. So we're going to use completely cool coolant right now, and I'm going to just stick this thing down in here, get both ends down into the coolant there. We're going to pull it out, and I'm going to go do this again for the Sequoia, and then we're going to wait 5 minutes and take a look at what we got. And here are the results after waiting a few minutes. So this one here is the test from the GX460. This one over here is the Sequoia. And just out of curiosity, I went ahead and dipped this one into the jug of unused coolant, so the brand new stuff, just to kind of see how it would baseline against everything. It's important to note that the green side is an indication of the pH or the corrosion acidity level. That's probably going to be the most important one to pay attention to. The purple one is an indicator of, your glycol that I talked about earlier. That's going to be a good indication of whether or not your coolant still has the ability to avoid freezing and avoid boiling. That one's a good one to keep an eye on, but in my opinion, the most important one is going to be that green one. It's really kind of hard to tell on video, but just looking at it with my eye, I'm seeing that my GX scored pretty well. I've recently changed out the coolant, and I would put it at the level 9 or so, so it's in still really good shape. Over here on the Sequoia, I would say it's a little bit below that, maybe an 8. So and that would make sense because I've changed it less frequently or less recently. So that's probably something to do pretty soon. That's a good indication that it's about time to do a coolant change, because you definitely want to avoid going, I would say, below a 7 and probably stay well above 7 as best as you can. So that is a pretty easy way of doing a quick little test to see where your coolant stands, how much life it has left, and whether or not you need to change it. You can certainly do this for vehicles you own, but I also thought about using this in the event that you go to do like an inspection of a vehicle you might be interested in buying, especially if you don't know all of the maintenance history of the vehicle. This could be a really, really good and easy test to perform really quickly to see whether or not the coolant has been maintained previously, because you definitely want to avoid buying a vehicle that has potentially lived a good chunk of its life with bad coolant. Like I said, going back to the possibility for a head gasket failure, this could be a good way of avoiding potential problems. One quick note before we wrap up, I did want to talk about OEM versus aftermarket coolants. I've at times used aftermarket Toyota approved pink and red coolant from companies like Valvoline, and personally, in my opinion, I don't think you're gonna do any like long-term damage to your vehicle by using third-party coolant. In my opinion, though, I do think if the price is similar, I'd probably recommend just going with the OEM stuff. That tends to be the case with Toyota parts, for example. the more you start to use third-party aftermarket parts, the less and less reliable the vehicle tends to become over time. That might not necessarily be quite the case with coolant, but I just think if you can afford to just go with the OEM stuff, just go ahead and do it. You know that you're not going to have any problems using it. So that wraps up my brief little crash course on engine coolant for your Toyota or Lexus. I hope it was informative, and I hope it was helpful to you. Feel free to leave a comment below. Let us know how you've been maintaining your Toyota. Let us know what type of interval you like to use for doing coolant changes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.